And if you think 100 years ago was a hard time to live, try Cleveland in the 70s. We lived by a bus depot, and the exhaust from the bus used to turn our snow black. So we ended up building a lot of snowmen called Tyrone. You didn't know where to put the carrot. It's not a 6:30 show anymore. It's like 8 o'clock. I'm sorry. I had to watch the clock. Once we get to a certain point, then I could bring out the adult humor. It's because all the cars and people were getting blown up in Cleveland in the 70s. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but the mob was blowing everybody up. And the Italians were being discriminated by a lot of valet parking guys. No, you move it. Those bombs were not smart bombs, folks. Can I tell you something? Everybody got blown up if you entered that bomb. They didn't care who they got. They were not smart bombs. My last name is Surisillo. You see that? Eugene, the animal Ciasulo, lived in my neighborhood and got blown up in '76. The next day at school, kids were coming in, handing me an envelope. Sorry to hear about your dad. That's a little too close for comfort. A lot of people assume that since we were Italian, that my father's construction company was some type of illegal front for mob activity. My father hated hearing that shit, so he had him killed. He wasn't gonna put up with that. That was actually, everybody's father got shot and killed in the 70s. That was like the thing to do back then. It was kind of like keto. Everybody was dead. It made it easy on the kids, because if you wanted to sneak booze into your buddy's house, you're like, where's your dad? Shot and killed. Oh, so I can come through the front door? You ask another friend, can your dad take us to the game? Shot and killed. What about your uncle? Shot and killed. Well, we better call Coach. Shot and killed. Everybody's dead. Everybody was dead. Shot and killed. If you showed up to a school event with your father, people were like, who the fuck is this guy? He's a transfer student from Milwaukee. Give it some time. I never even knew my father got shot and killed because he never came home for dinner. I found out one night when I asked my mother, I go, should I put a plate down for Dad? She's like, oh, sweetie. Dad died 3 years ago. That's not what I asked. Should I put a plate down or not, Mom? I'm kidding. My mother didn't cook. Look how tight everybody got. Yeah, man, this was going on in the 70s. If you're not familiar with this, in the 70s in Cleveland, they started busing. So I was forced to live in one of my uncle's houses because some non-Italians were being bused to our school system. Mm-hmm. Non-Italians. I'm not just talking black people. They discriminated against everybody. The Irish, the Jewish, the Polish, they didn't give a shit. They did not respect anybody unless your name ended in a vowel or started with a Don. That's how they accidentally voted for Obama. The first Italian president. I'm not kidding you. My uncle was always mad at me because I had posters of non-Italians on the wall. And he's like, I've never had a non-Italian hanging on my wall. I'm like, really? What about Jesus? He was a Jew. My grandma calls me a week later. She's like, do you have a non-Italian poster hanging on your wall? I'm like, you mean the Jackson 5 grand? I think Tito's Italian. I'm pretty sure Tito's Italian. Can I leave him up at least, please, Grandma? I would love to do a longer bit on how racist my family is, but they're still alive. And I've got to go somewhere for pasta on Sundays. I'm sorry, folks. At this point, I'm just being truthful. My parents were heavily influenced by the Catholic Church. Heavily influenced. So much so that my parents got divorced when I was 6 and when I was 12. So that was, they got remarried, I'm pretty sure because my mother found out she was pregnant with my youngest sister, and she didn't want to have the baby out of wedlock. We're Catholics, for Christ's sake. You don't want to do that shit. But I'm pretty sure if you get remarried, you have to ask permission from the church. I know they had to ask permission from my father's girlfriend. That was the first time I ever heard my father say, "I love you," was when he was hugging his girlfriend's son. I was like, that looks so real. It looks so real. It looks so real. This is why my mother's sick of me. My mother's sick of me. I think she was sick of me, though, the first trimester. But, you know, thank God women didn't have the right to choose in '63. I might not be here. Yeah, she's Catholic, but I still think she believes in late-term abortion up to 56 years old.